All right. How much pain do you think is a good sign to make us rethink about our lifting technique or programming? I'm not responsible for the grammar. I'm sore and have pain here and there all the time ever since I started lifting weights. Well, this is going to take a while, but I think it's probably good to go ahead and differentiate between a few things here. Soreness can be interpreted as pain. When I think of pain, I don't think of soreness. Soreness is chronic. It's systemic. It's all over a group of muscles. It's a result of eccentric loading. Look that up. And it's a normal consequence of training. Although bone-deep, horrible soreness all the time is neither a sign of intelligently designed training or something good for you. Soreness does not make you stronger. Lifting more weight than you did last time makes you stronger. That might also make you sore, but the soreness isn't the point. And if you're training because you like the feeling of being sore, grow the fuck up. You know, we're not here to help you pay penance to some idea that you've got that you're guilty of something. Okay, we're not. That's not what we're doing. You can go on all the way through a 6 months novice progression and be badly sore one time. That's all. And if you're badly sore all the time, something's wrong with your programming. You shouldn't be badly sore. But soreness, once again, I guess it could be interpreted as pain. But when I think of pain, I think of acute pain in one area, in a joint, or a muscle belly that's torn, or something else that is a result of an injury. Injury and soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness, are two completely different sensations, and they're two completely different events. The event that makes you sore is the normal execution of a workout to which you are not adapted, the eccentric part of which you're not adapted. An injury means something is wrong, something got hurt, something broke, something ruptured, something gave way under the execution of the force against the load. Something got pushed into the wrong position. Something got stretched too far, too rapidly, in a deceleration. There's obviously several mechanisms by which injuries occur. Injuries are not good for you either, all right, any more than chronic, extreme soreness is. But the mechanisms are similar at some level. The chronic soreness that you feel, for example, in your hamstrings after lunge walks, loaded lunge walks or something stupid like that, are the result of an inflammatory process by which that tissue is attempting to heal itself. Okay? Soreness is an inflammatory process. This is why it is delayed in its onset. When you stress a muscle group with eccentric loading, the current theory on this is that you are damaging the contractile cross bridges within the sarcomere, and that this damage is healed through the inflammatory process, the inflammatory cascade. These are all things you can look up on Wikipedia. And as a result of the need for the tissue to heal itself, inflammation ensues. This process takes 2 or 3 days, and then the soreness goes away. When you hurt yourself, if you, for example, you damage a spinal component, or you rupture a muscle belly, or you tear a few muscle fibers, which is more common, you will feel that injury immediately after it occurs. It's an acute process, a very short time frame. If you come up out of the bottom of a squat and you tear a quad in the process, it becomes perceptible to you right now. So it's a fundamentally different process than delayed onset muscle soreness. I wouldn't describe delayed onset muscle soreness as pain. It's just soreness. I'd call it soreness, and that's all. Pain, the term pain, I reserve for more acute stuff, like muscle belly injuries. Although back pain, low back pain, presents as a chronic problem as well. And it is probably the result of accumulated damage that you've done by being an upright biped. And we talked about back pain before, and so that would have to be separated from this definition. When I'm talking about delayed onset muscle soreness, I'm talking about the kind that comes on 24 to 48 hours after the work, sometimes faster than that, maybe 12 to 18 hours after the work, and that goes away within 72 hours. Chronic back pain doesn't go away, all right? A muscle belly tear comes on immediately. It's obvious when it occurs that the injury has caused an immediate deficit in a movement pattern, in the movement pattern that caused it. If you come up out of the bottom of a squat with a torn quad belly, you can't walk. You can't contract the quad because the acute pain prevents that from happening. Now that tends to heal up fairly rapidly as well because of the fact that a muscle belly is very vascular. And vascular tissue bathed in blood heals faster than non-vascular tissue like ligament and tendon. Everything heals except cancer and low back pain, unless low back pain can be fixed. Sometimes it can't, but just depends on the nature of it. Low back pain is just the human condition, you know. Kings and queens, as well as you and I, have low back pain. They don't like it any more than we do, and it doesn't sometimes go away. But an acute injury like a muscle belly tear will heal up within a couple of weeks. While it's healing, it's very important for you to understand that you must be making that muscle belly contract during the healing process, or it's going to heal in a scar. And that scar is going to be the source of continued injury because the scar itself is not contractile. And since it's not contractile, it's also not expansive. It's not extensible either. And if it extends under a big load, there will be another injury proximal to that scar, and it'll happen from now on. This is why a bad hamstring tear quite often ends an athletic career, because they're very seldom rehabbed correctly. If you have a hamstring belly tear, you have to get on it within 48 hours and start making it work, start making it contract, start making the site of the injury have to function in the way that it will need to function when it's healed up. If you rest it, it will scar. I assure you it will scar. Rest it long enough to make it stop bleeding and then start making it contract again. Start with a lightweight, high reps. Over the course of a couple of weeks, head down to a heavier weight with lower reps, making the thing remodel in a functional way. And that's how we rehab these kinds of things. But the pain that you will see during the process of rehabbing that muscle belly tear will go from acute and sharp and focused to as the healing progresses, less acute, more broadly perceived, and blurry, to use a metaphor. The pain goes from focused to blurry, and finally it goes away. And if you do it correctly, muscle belly tears are fairly amenable to healing. The exception to that would be a complete pec belly rupture. Those won't rehab. The ends of the pec detach, lay down on the rib, and reattach someplace where they're not supposed to be. And this is why a pec belly tear is a pretty bad injury. They're real hard to fix. So, you're sore and have pain here and there all the time since you started lifting weights. I wonder how old you are. I would bet you're older than 40. And it's unusual for a 20-year-old kid to be in pain like that all the time. But old guys, let's assume you're 40. Assume you're 45. You're hurt anyway because you're an old human, and old humans just hurt. You want to hurt and be strong, or you want to hurt and be weak.